But I knew that this was the man that God was bringing into my life, and sure enough, we were married, and at that time, our kids' ages were 8, 6, 4, and 3. Yeah. Boy, girl, and I'm telling you what, I often said, okay, Lord, what now? And, wow. Everything was new. New husband, new city, new sons, you name it, it was new. But fortunately, there was a new Bible study I went to. How many of you have ever read the book The Blessing by John Trent and Gary Smalley? Any of you? A few of you. Well, in this Bible study, they were talking about this book. I wish I had a few more hours with you ladies, but it talked about the value of words and how Jesus often talked in parables and stories. And our oldest son, Doug, was 8 years old, as I mentioned. He was 5 when his mom died. He did not want a new mom. It broke my heart. I could tell he didn't want me around. He didn't like me. He wanted nothing to do with this. But fortunately, this book was talking about using word pictures, stories to communicate, to break down some walls. And God gave me a wonderful story to share that was for our family. And I wish I had time to tell you, I don't, praise God. It became a children's book last year to help other blended families. But in this story, God opened up communication. You see, Proverbs 18:21 says, the tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit. We can speak things that either speak life into somebody or death into somebody. And so, I was so thankful that God kept saying, just keep loving on him, just keep loving on him, keep affirming him, keep honking. And every night, I'd wrap my arms around him and say, I love you. He would stand there with his arms stiff like this, and he'd go, Well, one day, I didn't realize Doug had walked into the kitchen, and I can be by myself and entertain myself, and I was laughing, and he said, what's funny? I said, I was thinking back to this movie I really liked when I was a kid, and in it, the grandfather told his granddaughter that she would know when she was truly in love and know who the right man would be to marry, because when she kissed him, her toes would curl and her shoes would come off. Well, about a week after I told Doug that, he came in after school. He reached up, pulled my head down, kissed my cheek, and kicked his shoes off and said, look, Mom. I was so shocked, I said, what? He said, my shoes. And I just gasped. I said, you love me. And I ran to him and I wrapped my arms around him, and for the first time he wrapped his arms around me. And that was a new beginning in that now moment. My husband and I have been married for 25 years now. And I have to tell you, it was a long process. It wasn't just that one hug that, Doug and I were still on eggshells sometimes. But I just want to tell you, hang in there. Hang in there with your relationships. And remember that the tongue has the power of life and death. And as you speak life into people, things change.